Okay, so good evening. My name is Craig Blanchette, and it's my pleasure to bring you this stories and strategies of life change. Every so often, we have some people that come on and share their stories of life change. And so tonight I'm going to share my story just in brief for some of you that have heard it, some of you that haven't. And then Karie Armstrong and Don Carpenter are going to both share their stories. And so that's going to be exciting. And then I'm going to go through a little bit of the strategies, some of the things, some of really of the habits of health and tools that we've used to be able to make some of these changes that we're going to talk about. And I want to also, I created a new website. It's called Crave Optimal Health. And I've got recipes on there, and I've got some blog articles and some videos and some different hopefully helpful things in the world of health. So if you happen to want to take a look at that, it's craveoptimalhealth.com. And so I want to have you check that out. And then, but with that, before we move on, I'll just actually jump into my story. I'm going to share my screen and allow you guys to see a before and after photo of myself. This was a new after photo. The photo on the left here was from a trip that we took to Puerto Vallarta. Actually, that's the one on the right. The one on the left was about 6 years ago at a friend of mine's wedding, and I had gained about 50 pounds over about an 8-year period and kept trying to get on the exercise train and exercise my weight off, and it just it never seemed to work. And for me personally, because I'm a pretty short guy. I was born with a birth defect, so I have really short legs. And so my upper body is normal and my lower body is very, very short. I wasn't sure if I was doing the wrong things, and it didn't matter how long I did the wrong things, I was never going to get what I wanted. Or if I was doing the right things, I just wasn't doing them long enough. It's sort of like driving a car. If you're on the wrong road, you're never going to get to where you want to go. But if you're on the right road, but you're not sure, you might turn around before you get to where you wanted to go. And that's what my story was. And so over the last 6 years, I've not only been able to keep my weight off, but I've been continuing to learn more and more habits of health that have enabled me to get healthier and healthier and continue to work out this my health journey, really one habit at a time. And even though you may learn some healthy habits, if you don't learn to practice them, you don't actually get the benefit, because just knowing about something and healthy is much different than doing something that's healthy. And then for me, I know it's a matter of continuing to practice them. As just because I practiced a healthy habit 5 years ago, if I stop doing it, I don't get any benefit. So that's kind of how this program works, and that's a little bit about my story, and it's really focused on installing those healthy habits. So I want to bring on our first story, and she's a health coach that lives out in the Spokane area, and so her name is Karie Armstrong. And so Karie, why don't you come on or come off of mute and come on video?
Hi
there. So good evening. So I'm just going to do a little bit of an interview with you. Tell me about these two pictures here. I love your 30 pounds in 3 months. And so tell me a little bit about the lady on the left there and kind of what was going through your mind and what you were feeling in your body when you look at that.
Well, the picture on the left was at a friend's wedding. And it was a bunch of friends from college who got together, and they all looked great still. And I have had a few kids, and I still had some weight left. And I don't think I realized it as much in that picture, but as soon as I looked at it the next day after I was going through the pictures, I thought, okay, there I am. I'm all there. And so it was a pretty good eye-opener, I would say. And I don't know. I always wore loose clothes. Like that dress that I wore there was not form-fitting at all, which is kind of my style anyways. But now I can choose to wear that instead of feeling more restrained by all my other clothes that I was wearing. But that's kind of where I was at in the left side picture.
It's interesting when we look at ourselves in the mirrors versus when we see ourselves in a photo, that somehow it's just a different experience. Do you want to share anything about that?
Well, I definitely agree. I have a whole bunch of pictures that when I think of how I was feeling during that moment, I didn't realize how I looked. And yeah, it's discouraging. And I make a calendar every year for our family calendar. And I notice I am more excited to put family pictures and pictures of myself in the calendar than I was before, where I just, I'll put one more of the kids in there. Nobody needs to see me.
Right.
And so, yeah, I'm excited to be more excited about being a part of all the memories and the pictures that I've taken.
That's actually a big deal. I took down the photo because the after, we don't need to look at an after photo because here you are, right, live. And so tell us a little bit about maybe some things that you've experienced as you've been learning these healthy habits. Obviously, physically, you look different and probably feel different, but what are some of the things that stand out to you that have stand out to you?
Well, I think, and we'll hear from my amazing coach, Dawn, next. And I remember the conversation with her right before I got signed up to start. And she had asked me, how are you feeling? What are your goals? Getting to the why of the program and why I wanted to lose my weight. And so I've identified a lot with a lot of moms who have the extra baby weight or just the cushion that comes with having babies for most moms. Some moms don't do that. But she really helped me tap into that and give me tools to make progress. And like you said, learn the healthy habits and maintain them because it's a constant process. Like everybody here is wanting to be healthier and not stop where we're at. And so I think that's where I've transitioned more and just feeling more comfortable in my own skin, even though it's not the ideal skin that I want to end up in. But
right.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Tell me when you're thinking about that, because it's 30 pounds in 3 months. So just doing the quick math, that's 10 pounds a month. And then, so obviously that made a big difference in the clothing size. What other things did you notice, even something simple as putting on your shoes or running to the bus stop, or is there something else that sticks out to you of like, I can do this now and it's like fun or easy?
I would say playing on the floor with my kids. When you say something that sticks out to me, it doesn't stick out as much anymore, but I'd sit down and my shirt would come up and my kids would come play with it. They'd be like, oh, this is like Play-Doh. This is so cool. I'm like, no, it's not cool. And so I think that is one of the big things, is just being comfortable getting up and down faster and feeling comfortable sitting and getting down with the kids, whether it's a playtime with their friends or even they're starting to do sports. And I'm more excited to get involved while other parents are watching because I'm not as concerned with my performance or my appearance or even energy level. I actually want to, and yeah.
Talk about that, about just that, because I have some people that hate exercise, and one of the things that I've been talking with David Miller a bit about is some programs really focus a lot on the physical exercise. And another word for that is torture. Because when you're really overweight and you're trying to do a lot of physical exercise it's not enjoyable. It's kind of torture. And people that lose weight on our program and then start to exercise, it's almost like they can find it's actually kind of fun. And so you say, that you're able to actually want to do some activities. Explain that a little bit more.
I think you're moving around a lot less weight once you lose it. And so I think it's easier and it feels more efficient when the weight is off. And I keep going back to the comfort of whether it's the clothes that I'm wearing and just movement in general. I'm more comfortable and especially with the habits of drinking water. That helps a ton with my energy level. And my kids have gotten plugged into it too, because they know about the challenge that we do and how fun that is. And they like to check my points and make sure that I'm drinking water and eating all the time. But I like how it's incorporated my family a lot into our meal times and just activity in setting goals, whether it's getting outside for 15 minutes no matter what, or drinking water, cutting back on sugar. It's been awesome.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I want to take a minute, and for those of you that are watching, maybe some of you know Karie, maybe some of you don't know Karie, but I'd love you to come off of mute and just, if you have a question or maybe a comment or encouragement or something that she said resonated with you, let's just do a little Q&A with Karie and go for it. Don't be shy.
I'd love to say something. Hi.
Hi.
Great. This is No Makeup Tuesday for Linda, so I apologize for my appearance.
But you got new curls and then maybe a new hair color. Look at you.
I'm working on it. I'm working on my improvement. But Karie, just as I don't have kids yet, but that's part of the reason I started. It was because I was looking forward to being a mom, and hearing you talk about post having kids and being successful is so encouraging for me, because that's something that I sometimes have fear with, is what can I do it after I have kids, because I've seen all of my friends have kids and then gain weight. It seems like it's the inevitable. But hearing your story is really, it's a feather in my cap for why I'm here, and hearing you talk about it just is really, it's what I needed to hear today. So thanks for sharing and being candid.
You bet. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun that it works. Like, there's nobody it doesn't work for. And I have plenty of friends, whether it's saving money or they want to make sure that the whole family's eating the same meal all the time, and just the troubleshooting with balancing that and kids. And once they finally try it and have amazing success, it works for everybody, which is, I think, the most fun. You can guarantee, obviously, if you follow the plan, that you'll have the results. It's awesome.
Well, and that's what I say when I tell people. So basically, this program was designed for humans, and so if you're a human, it will work for you, and that's the neat thing about it. And that actually is, you would assume that every program out there, people would have been created that actually does work for the human body, but a lot of people programs, they don't work, and really, when our program, we say it works, it's learning habits of health and then using them. And when you do healthy things, you become healthier. And one of those byproducts is you get to a healthy weight. So our program isn't a weight loss program. It's actually a habits of health program. But you do often lose weight when you do healthy things. So let's learn what those are and let's practice them together. And that's really the point of all this. So, all right. Well, thank you, Karie, for your story of inspiration. Karie has actually, for some of you that may or may not know, most people start out this program working with a coach and working on their own health. And then oftentimes you'll get to a point where you're like, you'll want to help somebody. And so we have a health coach certification program where you actually get certified. And then you start working with some people that you know. And so Karie, not only as a client, she is now a health coach, and she's working with her friends. And some of you actually that are on here tonight may be, Karie might be your coach. And so I love that aspect of our program, is that nobody does this alone. And I just find we're not nearly as healthy as we could be if we try to be healthy by ourselves. So, and speaking of not doing it alone, next up we have Dawn Carpenter. And Dawn is Karie's coach, and oddly enough, I'm Dawn's coach. So there's the healthy family there. And so let me bring up a before picture of Dawn, and then we'll have her share a little bit about her story. So there you go, Dawn, you're up.
Okay, well, the picture on the far left was the day I started. and I did not want that picture taken. I hated having my picture taken. I had gotten to this chunky, frumpy, 50-something-year-old body, and I just felt awful about myself. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I hated standing in my closet trying to figure out what in the world I was going to wear that didn't make me feel even more frumpy and dumpy and stuffed like a sausage. So, yeah, that's kind of where I started. The next picture is the middle picture is when I got to my goal weight, and I was ecstatic. I had gotten back down to my high school weight, which I never in a million years dreamed would ever be possible. And it's just been just a fun ride to do that. I feel like I have so much more energy, and kind of like Karie mentioned, I'm a second grade teacher, so I'm getting up and down off the floor. I love it. I love how easy I can get up and down now, and how I've got a super active husband who loves to be out hiking and biking, and I hated it before because I was always like the ball and chain. I could never keep up with him. I was always huffing and puffing. I really wasn't having fun, but he wanted me to be there with him. So now I love going out with him, and I can keep up with him, and it feels awesome. So, and then the last picture, which is totally cool, is I'm coming up on my 3rd anniversary of choosing health. And that picture was taken this last summer. And so it feels so awesome to not just have gotten to that healthy place, but to been able to actually stay at that healthy place for 2.5 years now. So pretty cool.
One of the things, Dawn, that we talked about, because I've been coaching Dawn, well, from the beginning, and I know we talked about the idea in the past, you have lost weight or just kind of been concerned, and we talked about how long you've maintained a healthy weight and sort of that quiet confidence that there's no longer this unknown scaredness that you could lose it at any time. And so tell me about sort of that piece that you have about your health and about what you're doing, and that there's really no magic.
Well, I think that's been huge for me, because before I had tried a lot of different programs, and I had read a lot of books, and I had felt like I pretty much knew what I was supposed to do, but somehow I couldn't quite get it together and make it happen. And so, I just, as I learned the habits of health and I gained that confidence, it just felt like something I knew I could practice. I mean, I knew how I got my weight off originally. I knew that Craig was still there for my support. I knew that Dr. Anderson's books were still there for my resource. It just, as time went on, even if I gained a little bit, which I have over the last 2.5 years, I've gained a few pounds. In fact, right now, being totally honest, holidays and stress put a little bit on me, but I feel really confident that it's a couple pounds. I'm going to get it off in a few weeks, and I'm going to be back where I want to be again. And so, yeah, that has just totally changed my perspective on health and well-being. And so it's a great place to be. Yeah, because I remember way back, Craig, that was one of the things that I kept panicking on. As I got closer and closer to my goal, I kept panicking and saying, okay, Craig, but I've never done this before. I've lost weight, but I've never, ever kept it off before. And so you just kept reassuring me and kept telling me that, you're just going to keep doing what you're doing, Dawn. You're just going to keep practicing those healthy habits, and I'm going to be here for you. And, so it's been awesome not being in the journey by myself.
Yeah. I know that you said a bunch of neat things there, and I love your husband is like mega healthy, mega active, like definitely Kelly's amazing. And is there something maybe, because you talked about being able to keep it off, that's a big thing, and you continuing to work on health and being more active. Is there something else that's maybe just sort of like simple everyday kind of stuff that you've noticed that's like, it's just different, it's just better now? Can you think of anything like that?
Well, actually, there's a lot of things. I mean, it's just awesome to go to my closet and put something on and know that I feel like I feel good. and feel that I feel like I'm okay going out and being places. Because I had kind of gotten to a spot where I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to shop for new clothes. In fact, I was kind of at a push comes to shove point because my clothes had gotten so tight that I was almost being forced to have to go buy something in a bigger size just right before I started. So that's been huge. Just feeling the ease of movement. I had a parent, I think I mentioned I'm a teacher. I had a parent that I had several years before who hadn't seen me in a while, and she said, "Gosh, Dawn, you just move with such grace." And I just thought, really? I guess I had never noticed, but maybe I don't feel like I lumber along anymore, which I kind of did, I guess. So, that's pretty awesome to feel like you can do that too. So.
Well, great stuff. Well, I'll give a little bit of an overview of how our program works, but before I do that, I wanted to, if any of you would like to come off of mute, and if something connected with you, maybe something that either Karie or Dawn said is where you're at right now, and you're thinking, oof, I wish this would be different, or maybe something they said inspired you. It's always good to hear some encouragement and some inspiration. So anybody want to share or comment? Okay, awesome. Well, I do have a little bit of a surprise, and we have someone that's their birthday today. And so I wanted to celebrate. Joe's on Joe McCarthy. He's from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and I've been working with him and his wife for a couple of years. And Joe tuned in tonight. It's his birthday, and so I wanted to wish you a happy birthday, Joe, and actually a healthy happy birthday, right? And it's been fun working with Joe and Brianna. Both of them have made so many changes. They keep telling me they're not as healthy as they want to be, and I keep telling them, yeah, neither am I. But the reality is we're so much healthier than we used to be. And so happy. How old are you, Joe?
45.
45. All right. Well, it's nice to see you tuning in on your birthday, and congratulations with everything, how far you've come and everything you've done so far. Yep.
Awesome.
Good to have you. Awesome. All right, guys. So I'm going to give a quick overview of sort of how our program works. And literally, this is going to be just some general overview. There's a lot of details that come along. We've got this book with 360 pages, and so there's a lot of information to learn and then to relearn and to study. And you don't figure out these habits of health overnight. You figure them out over time. And so one of the first things that we do is usually people need some help structuring what they eat. And so we've got a really, really simple plan for those that want to lose weight. We use our optimal weight 5-in-1 plan. For those of you that either don't need to lose weight, but you're just not really hitting the marks as far as your nutrition, maybe you're only eating 1 or 2 meals a day. So even though you're not overweight, you're still not eating healthy. We have the Optimal Health 3-in-3 plan, which is basically 3 meals and 3 snacks, essentially. And then for people that are on the optimal weight 5-in-1, we would transition you from the 5-in-1 to the 3-in-3. And so we teach you about foods that are good for you, that are low glycemic. A lot of you may actually think that rice cakes are actually something healthy, and rice cakes with a glass of orange juice sounds like a wonderfully healthy meal. But after you've had a few weeks learning some of these healthy habits, you realize that is actually very unhealthy when it comes to your blood sugar. And blood sugar affects insulin, and insulin affects inflammation, and inflammation is something you want to avoid. And so we teach you how to keep your inflammation levels low, and we teach you how to eat about every 3 hours. And we have a number of tools that we do and foods that we eat. And so our nutrition plan is pretty simple, and it's pretty easy to follow. And anyway, and there's, it's customizable based upon what you're looking for. So there's a lot of variety and different things you can do. Some of it is groceries, and we teach you how to eat at restaurants. And then we actually even have some really healthy foods that you can use that are glycemically balanced and kind of take some of the guesswork out of it. The second thing, tool that we use, of course, if you don't learn healthy habits, changing your diet will be temporarily, and you actually won't become healthy. And so we have this book called The Habits of Health book that Dr. Anderson wrote. And really, the more habits you learn and the more habits you practice, the math is really simple. The healthier you'll become. And so some of the people that I coach never read the Habits of Health book. And I ask them, how do you plan on being healthy if you're not learning the healthy habits? And the reality is they're just trying to lose weight. And so most of them do, and then they gain it right back. And so one of the things that my coach said is, if you're not as healthy as you want to be, check your habits. Maybe you need to add some or practice some that you already have learned. And it's just that simple, quite frankly. One simple healthy habit is water, right? So, because I keep talking about these healthy habits, and that can seem very ambiguous, but they're actually kind of boring and simple. Having breakfast every day. What? That's a habit of health? Yeah. Drinking water, sleep. I know it's not very crazy awesome. Sleep, right? But all these things take practice actually doing. And when you do them in the right amounts, your life just gets better. The last thing that everyone has is a health coach. And so nobody goes through this program and learns this by themselves. And every health coach is actually a client as well. And so every health coach has experienced the program too. And so basically we put on our oxygen masks first, or we learn the healthy habits for ourselves. And as we're learning those, other people want to join us. And so we partner with them and we learn together. And so, this is also one of the pieces of support is our community. Everybody here, I would say we all have at least two things in common. We're all humans. Pretty good. I think most of you. Yep, you're all human. Okay, good. Cut that one. And the second one is that not one of us is as healthy as we want to be. And so to me, that seems very accessible, that you're not going to work with a bunch of people that kind of pretend like they have it all together. Some of us have more healthy habits installed than others, but none of us has all of them. And so we're all working on it together. And so this is something that has intrigued you or kind of piqued your interest. Two things. One, if not for you, who do you know that is looking for this actual kind of thing, looking to learn to be healthy with a group of other people and make it stick? I would think we all know lots of people like that. But if you're not thinking about somebody else, maybe you're just thinking about you. And that's most of the time where we start, is with us. And so connect with the person that invited you. I want to say thanks for Karie and sharing your story. And most people's, did I really say that? I think I did. Most people will start to do something to improve themselves because they were inspired by somebody else doing something first. And so hopefully Karie's story or Dawn's story or maybe even my story would be an inspiration to you that you could possibly share with somebody else, or maybe just share with yourself. And you're welcome to join us back every Tuesday at this time. If you're not in our healthy games, next Monday, about a week from yesterday, we're going to start our next healthy games health education challenge. And so we've taken the habits of health and the community, and we've mixed in a little bit of fun and some points and some prize money. And we've put together this thing that's pretty amazing, where you get to learn these healthy habits over 6 weeks, and we do it together. So next week will be our team huddle. And so if you're in the healthy games and on our team, then obviously you'd want to come here to be part of this. But you can still come even if you're not part of the healthy games, and learn what you can. And hopefully your story will inspire somebody else to to make some positive changes. So we're right now at the bottom of the hour, and we're going to move into our Habits of Health training. And so if you have your Habits of Health book handy, grab it and turn to chapter 25. And I'm going to stop the recording here for a second, and I'll come right back, and we'll see you soon.